My fiance wants to end our relationship because I didn't choose him first. I'm sorry if this whole thing sounds a bit rushed, but my fiance, Ryan, whom I've been with for 7 years, told me today that he's uncertain if he wants to stay with me anymore. I realize it may sound foolish, but I love him so deeply that it feels like my world is crumbling around me. I don't know what I can do. This situation began a few days ago when we were celebrating our anniversary. We invited several people, including one of my closest friends, Ellie. She observed my fiance being affectionate towards me and made some annoying comment about how she told me so, that Ryan would be better for me than my ex, Andy. My fiance was a bit perplexed and asked Ellie what she meant. Back in college, both Andy and Ryan asked me out to the same event. I'd known Ryan since high school and we'd always had a connection, but we weren't officially a couple. Additionally, he attended another college that was a half-hour drive away from me. Andy was a student at my college, his dorm was a 5-minute walk away, and he was someone entirely new. I started feeling that my relationship with Ryan wouldn't be exciting enough because we already knew almost everything about each other. With the added inconvenience of being a half-hour apart, despite Ellie's objections, I decided to go with Andy. I know my reasoning is really foolish, but I never thought that this decision could potentially ruin my future. Ryan was already hurt that I declined his invitation to the event. I didn't want to make him feel worse by telling him that I was going with someone else, though it didn't matter much since he stopped talking to me for about 6 months. During that time, it became clear that Andy and I weren't compatible, so we ended things. When Ryan and I started talking again, I realized how much I missed him and that he was perfect for me, so I asked him out. He was thrilled, and that's how we got to this point. For the remainder of the gathering, I could sense his mood was off. He kept withdrawing from my kisses and touches and only gave me brief, one-sentence replies. After the party, when I inquired what was bothering him, he simply said he felt unwell. Over the next couple of days, he remained cold and distant. I was clueless about what was going on, so I waited patiently for him to be comfortable enough to tell me. Today, he finally disclosed the reason for his strange behavior. From what he said, it seemed like I had kept him as a backup or a second option in case my relationship with Andy didn't work out, which he found particularly troubling since we had obviously had feelings for each other long before. He also mentioned that he believes he deserves to be someone's first choice. I initially thought this was an insecurity we could work through, but then he said he wasn't sure if he could view our relationship the same way anymore, and perhaps it was best if we separated. I begged him not to take such drastic measures and suggested that we attend counseling or perhaps live apart for a few days while he considers if this is truly what he wants. So far, he has only responded by saying he absolutely refuses to go to therapy. I can see this is heavily affecting him because he has been drinking more than usual, but I don't know what to say to ease his pain. We've shared a wonderful relationship. He has never been overly jealous or possessive, and although we are not perfect, I couldn't ask for a more loving, respectful, intelligent, and charming soon-to-be husband. I can't comprehend how all of that could end because of a foolish mistake I made 7 years ago. I'm not exactly sure what I'm seeking by posting here, but if anyone has any advice, please let me know. Edit. I think I may have miscommunicated in my wording. He doesn't mind that I dated someone else before him. What troubles him is that I had a choice between him and Andy, and I chose Andy. Update. So a number of people have requested an update. It's been slightly over 2 weeks now, so I'm unsure if anyone remains interested. At the moment, I'm just bewildered about what's going on. If anyone has any advice or insight into his thoughts, please share. Following the events in the last post, he mentioned that we should postpone the wedding while we figure out our next steps. That indicates something, right? He specifically said postpone instead of cancel and added, while we figure out our next steps. I believe that means he hasn't yet decided that we should separate. Perhaps he'll choose not to get married but to keep our relationship. I don't think he's prepared to end our relationship yet, but he's moved into a hotel. I know some people have advised me to give him space, but I've decided that even if part of him is willing to stay with me, I'll do everything in my power to earn another chance. I've been delivering food, leaving notes under his door, and we've been talking on the phone daily, sometimes twice a day. Right now, we're both in a state of limbo. Most of the time, we discuss how much we miss each other, the plans we had, and I try to convince him that he's my soulmate and that despite whatever happened with Andy, I know we would have ended up together. Then there are other moments when he calls in the middle of the night, obviously having been crying, and asks questions like, what did he have that I didn't? Did you love him? Was he better in bed? Was he better looking than me? Do you still think he's better looking than me? What does more exciting mean? Do you wish he'd given you another chance? He says he wants to be with me desperately, but when he thinks about me, it's imprinted in his mind that I was always his first choice, but he will always have been my second. It pains him that we harbored emotions for each other throughout high school, but the moment I encountered Andy, none of those feelings mattered anymore. This must have signified that I deemed Andy worth my time, while he was not. It breaks my heart to hear him stifling his sobs and attempting to cry quietly, but I swear I'll do anything to preserve our relationship, and part of that entails complete honesty with him. I've pleaded for him to reconsider therapy, but he is adamant and unwilling to change his mind. Some of our mutual friends express uncertainty about his recovery from this, but I don't care. He hasn't asked me to cease trying, so I won't stop. I fervently wish I could go back and alter the past because I love him more than anything, including myself. It feels like I'm trapped in a surreal nightmare. Less than a month ago, we were lying in bed, debating who would get to name our children, and now a seemingly insignificant mistake I made 7 years ago might erase the beautiful future I envision with Ryan. All I can do now is be present and hope he grants me another chance, but I'm unsure of his thoughts. I understand this isn't a typical relationship issue, but if anyone has advice or even reassurance that things will improve, please share it with me. Edit. He called an hour ago. Some of his friends discovered this Reddit post and showed it to him, so he called, angry, asking why I would share our personal problems with strangers and how he is supposed to face his friends and family now that they all know the only reason I'm with him is that Andy broke up with me. After reading the comments, he realized it wasn't fair to keep me in the dark for so long without making a decision. He has chosen that we should go our separate ways so that I can decide whether it is truly him that I want to be with and that he wasn't just the convenient choice. For now, I can't describe how I'm feeling. It's like I'm so exhausted, I just want to sleep forever. I realize some of you have the impression that he's a terrible man, but this was just a minor piece of our relationship and doesn't truly reflect who he is as an individual. He's the man who spent days learning about my major alongside his own studies so that he could assist me in preparing for exams and proofreading my assignments. He spent thousands of his own hard-earned dollars to give my parents their dream vacation to Australia and insisted that I say I paid for it because they'd feel uncomfortable accepting money from him. When my ex threatened to leak nudes that I had sent him when we were together, I was petrified that my fiance would leave. He took me out to my favorite restaurant and said that there was nothing anyone else could do or say that would ever diminish his love for me, and then he asked me to marry him so I'd never have to worry about him leaving ever again. My fiance is the most wonderful man I've ever met, and the assumptions that everyone here has made based on hearing about such a tiny part of our lives are repulsive. I didn't come here for people to convince me that he's immature, insecure, or anything like that. I should have known better than to post here, but all I can hope for now is that he sees this. To my fiance, I don't know what I can say to make this better, and I don't know if you'll be able to recover from this. What I can say is that you are mistaken in thinking that I chose you out of convenience. I chose you because you're the most thoughtful, handsome, intelligent, and charming man that I've ever known. Every single moment that we've spent together for the past 7 years, every kiss we've shared, every bagel we've split, and every I love you I've said was for you and was an affirmation that you are and always will be my first choice. I don't believe that you want to end our lives together prematurely. I think that you have been attempting to recover from the aftermath of a mistake that I committed, and in the process, I may have inadvertently pressured you by prompting a decision through this post. Take as much time as you need to do what is necessary to recover from this, and I will be here waiting for when you are ready to communicate. If you decide that this is something we cannot overcome, I will respect your decision, but I believe we are stronger than this. I love you immensely. Edit. I realize this is getting quite lengthy, but he read my open letter and reached out to say that he's not making any promises except that he'll listen. He still refuses to see a therapist because he doesn't believe our relationship is strong enough to be saved at this moment. However, some people here have mentioned that they wish they could offer him advice directly, and I've convinced him to speak with others who have gone through similar experiences and recovered. If you've encountered something similar, please request his throwaway account either in your response to this post or by PMing me. Thank you. Update. Before I delve into the update, I want to mention that I consulted my ex-fiance before posting this, and he agreed as long as I don't disclose any many details that could reveal our identities to more of our friends and family. I have always been the type of person who appreciates others' input when making significant decisions, and he understands that. A lot has transpired since the last update. After our conversation, he went completely silent for about 2 weeks to contemplate. The waiting was nearly unbearable, but he assured me that as soon as he had an answer, he would reach out to me. I was not allowed to visit his hotel to drop off food, try to see him, or make any contact. When he finally called, the first thing he made clear was that our relationship was over. However, despite our relationship ending, he still wants to be with me. If I still want to be with him, we can restart our relationship completely from the beginning, with the board wiped clean. In his own words, while you look back at our relationship and see something wonderful, I look back at it in disgust because you lied by omission every single day. Initially, I was ready to agree immediately, but he insisted that I take a week to decide whether I truly want this. His reasoning is that if I choose to restart our relationship now, he will be my first choice. As the week went on, it started to sink in what this would entail. I would transition from fiance back to girlfriend. I don't know when he is going to propose again, and I don't want children until we are married, so I don't know how long that is going to take. In short, it would completely disrupt the life plans we had. I asked for a bit more time, and he doesn't want me to resent him in the future, so he agreed to give me as much time as I need to reach a decision. This is a better outcome than I expected, and maybe better than I deserve, but I would be lying if I said that I don't wish things could go back to normal. I've decided that I'm going to agree to start over. It just really hurts that the past 7 years don't mean anything anymore. Not long ago, we celebrated our 7th anniversary, but this time next year, we will be celebrating our 1st anniversary again. Edit. He read the post and wanted to address some of the comments. If we do restart our relationship, he won't hold anything over my head. It will be exactly as he said, and our relationship would start over completely. He is so confident about this that he insists I leave him if he ever slips up and brings it up when we argue. Some people have said that being first is just an arbitrary construct, but that doesn't mean anything. Marriage is a construct, monogamy is a construct, etc. Something being a construct doesn't make it any less real or capable of causing pain. A reminder that this isn't about me dating people prior to him. He doesn't mind that at all. He cares that I knew him for many years, that we had a connection in high school, and that he waited until we were in college to start officially dating. But I chose someone else I barely knew. It has come up frequently that the duration of our relationship should influence his choices. He says it does because it makes the situation even more severe. I never informed him about what occurred during those 6 months while we were together. Furthermore, I wasn't the one to eventually inform him. We know everything about each other, so he can only believe that I intentionally kept it from him. I'm not insecure, fragile, or irrational. The fact is that our previous relationship is now spoiled in my eyes. It's spoiled because she took away my ability to make an informed decision 7 years ago. If I had known the circumstances of her return, I'm not afraid to say that I would have told her to go herself. Now, I'm giving her the option to restart our relationship with me knowing all the facts. This time, we'll be equals.